What is up, everyone? Moving back again with another end of month vlog. This is just me going over everything I watched in the month of September 2022. Now, this isn't the biggest one I've ever done, but I did go on a stag do to Prague, and it took me days to recover after that. And I was just finding it really hard to get through a full movie after work and stuff because I was just that drained. And at the end of the month, I got a bug. This stomach bug that's been going around, and it just totally wiped me out. I usually stay up till 11, half 11 at night, but I was in bed by 8 o'clock. It was just the worst thing ever. So there's a good 2 weeks that got took out the month there where I hardly watched anything. But I think I've still got about 18 titles here, and there's a lot of Halloween movies I'm going to be going through because I've been watching all the Halloween films. So a large chunk of this is the Halloween movies. But there is other things here I've watched as well, some new releases and stuff, and I think there's 3 TV shows in here that I've watched as well, that I've managed to watch. So let's just get into it with the first thing that I watched, and that is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, which I was happy about, having Michael Myers back in a Halloween film. I wasn't the biggest fan of Part 3, which I watched last month. To have Michael Myers back was, you know, a bonus for this franchise. Not a bonus, the right path to take, in other words. And this had a really, really creepy and haunting atmosphere with lots of cheesiness from the 80s thrown in, which worked together really well, I thought. Like, there's this guy who works at the asylum, and he's sort of talking all creepy to people who visit the asylum and stuff, and it just added a fun little vibe to the film. Some really good kills in here. It's a bit of an on-the-road movie for a little bit as well, which I thought was really good. Michael Myers, like, sort of making his way to Haddonfield, killing a lot of people in his wake. I thought that was a really good aspect of the movie. I love the lynch mob that come for him as well. Another great idea. So it really did get the franchise back on track. Even though it followed the same story as the first film, I think this franchise just needed this to get back on track, basically. So Halloween 4 was definitely one of the best sequels in the Halloween franchise. Now, if you want to see my full review for that, spoiler talk and everything, the review will be down below in the Halloween playlist. I'm reviewing all before Halloween Ends comes out, and I'll be reviewing Halloween Ends as well. So if you want to check that out, link will be down below. Next up, I watched the Cuphead show, Season 2. I really enjoyed Season 1, so I was definitely going to watch this. They're only like 15-minute episodes, but I had a really good time with this. The animation is great, just like the video game. And it's just about these two cups, basically. They live in this weird land where all the designs are out of everything, all the most random things you can think of. Like, there's a guy who's got a dice for a head and stuff like that. But Cuphead, him and his brother Mugman, just go on these little adventures, and it's always a fun time. It's really funny, and it draws that fine balance between kids' humour and adult humour as well. So I loved it. You know, I can't wait for Season 3, which is definitely happening, coming on Netflix, to wrap this show up. But yeah, I do recommend it. Even if you haven't played the game, you can have some fun with this. And a 15-minute episode, you can fly through it. So the Cuphead show, Season 2, I thought it was better than Series 1, to be honest. So yeah, a great underrated show if you like there. Next up, we have my new release of the month, and that is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies from A24. I didn't know what to expect going into this. Whether I was going to like it or not, because I'd heard a lot of mixed things, but I really enjoyed it. I think I have it 11th in my 2022 movie rankings, so that is very high. I've watched over 75 films this year, so you can tell I liked it. This is basically about a group of teenagers in a house, and they are being killed off one by one, and there's a mystery aspect to it. You've got to kind of guess who the killer is and stuff like that, and I love them type of films because I like it when I'm keeping guessing and I'm playing along with the movie. And the ending was absolutely genius. It just made everything come together. And one of the best movie moments in 2022 for me. It just wrapped it all up very, very nicely. So Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was a great surprise, and I really enjoyed it. So that is my new release of the month. Next up, we have Cobra Kai Season 5, which did come close to being my new release of the month, but this, for me, is actually the weakest season, I feel. Even though it was still great, I still would give it 8 out of 10. That shows how strong this show is. I don't know if I expected too much from it, because I was really, really looking forward to this. But I don't know. It kind of just recycled old storylines a little bit there. Kind of didn't know what it wanted to do with itself at times. There was story paths that made the show grow as well. I'll give it that. But a lot of it felt like filler at times. But Teddy Silver back to his best and stuff. He is such a great villain. I love him. I love to hate him. But it was a great, it was a great time. I had a really good time with it. I watched it in one weekend, so I was still binging it and addicted to it. But it's still the weakest season for me, but still a good season. So, in other words, Cobra Kai is a great show. So, looking forward to season 6 still, even though it didn't end on the best of cliffhangers. Season 4's cliffhanger was way better than this season's. But I'm still looking forward to Cobra Kai season 6. I just hope Netflix don't milk it too much and end it where it should end. But we'll wait and see. That is Cobra Kai season 5. That was probably my most anticipated TV show of the year. So I'm glad to have seen that. Next up, we have a chunk of Halloween movies here. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Now, I'm not going to say where this comes in my Halloween ranking, but it is going to be down the bottom because I'm going to be doing a Halloween ranking video. So it's going to be near the bottom because this was definitely one of the weaker Halloween films. There's a lot of problems. Halloween 5, it was dull and boring in a lot of places. There's a character named Tina who comes into this, who's the most annoying character in the entire franchise up to now. I just couldn't stand there. I just wanted Michael Myers to kill her off straight away. And they make the lead character, Jamie, played by Daniel Harris, a mute, which did bring out a good performance in it, but it didn't help the story in any way. And Michael looked terrible like he did in Halloween 4, which I forgot to mention. The mask in both of these movies is awful. And it makes Michael not very creepy, to be honest. There's some okay kills in this. That's probably about the best thing you had going for it. But overall, not a very good film. But I've got a full spoiler talk video review down below in the playlist. Like I said, if you want to check out my Halloween movie reviews, which I'm really enjoying doing, actually. Next up is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, which I am going to be recording after this video and reviewing on the channel very, very soon. So I won't speak too much about these next 3, but I liked the way it was trying to bring something new to the franchise, but it just wasn't executed very good. This is the producer's cut I watched as well, which is meant to be the better one, but it was better than Halloween 5, in my opinion. There was some good kills here. Nice to see Paul Rudd. I think this is his acting debut as well. Now, Friday the 13th gave us Kevin Bacon. Nightmare on Elm Street gave us Johnny Depp. And Halloween gave us Paul Rudd. So, yeah, nice to see an actor early on in his career who's just made it so big now. It had some good ideas, this movie. It did. There was a lot to like, but there was even more to dislike. Overall, it wasn't a bad Halloween film. Next up is Halloween H2O, 20 years later. Another one I'll be reviewing very shortly on this channel. Definitely one of the better Halloween films. I remember loving this as a kid on VHS. And it does kind of stand the test of time. I think it hasn't aged badly at all. And I enjoyed it. It's probably the most simplest Halloween film to watch and the easiest to watch. Probably even easier than the original, to be honest. Because it just flew by. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long or something, but this film just absolutely flew by. It was just an enjoyable popcorn horror flick. It doesn't try to be too much, going too many different directions. Keeps it very, very simple like the first film. So I enjoyed H2O. Even though I'm not a massive Jamie Lee Curtis fan, it kind of worked for this film. Next up, I watched Halloween Resurrection. I say we, but my wife, just always falls asleep during these films. I don't think she's watched the full one yet. About 20 minutes in, she's just asleep on the couch, so I end up watching all these on my own. I was going to get it on the channel to rank the franchise with me, but there just is no point. Halloween Resurrection. This is another weak one. This is some people's most disliked Halloween film. Now, I'm not going to reveal which one is until my ranking, but this will be like Halloween 5, right down the bottom there. It was... Do you know what? I watched this film, and the more it went on, just the less I cared. I couldn't get invested in any of the characters. I know that's not the point of slasher films, but there is something little to them sometimes, but just nothing to these, even the main protagonist. Busta Rhymes just doing roundhouse kicks to Michael Myers out of a window. It was fun to watch, but then straight after, immediately, you just go, how the hell did that get in this movie? And Busta Rhymes, unlike LL Cool J, who was half decent in H2O, is not a very good actor at all. He is terrible. So, Halloween Resurrection, man, that was a poor entry into this franchise. A good first 15 minutes. Everything after that was terrible. So yeah, that is Halloween Resurrection. Next up, we have another Halloween movie, and that is Rob Zombie's Halloween. Now, I remember liking this when I first watched it about 10 years ago when it first came out. This time, I liked half the movie, which is the origin story. I know a lot of people don't care for that, but I really enjoyed watching Michael, this young Michael Myers, sort of be this brutal little bastard here, because it makes you believe even more that he could go on to be this killer, and he is just out of control as this youngster. The scene where he kills his whole family and stuff is just so hard to watch. I wouldn't say so hard to watch, but it shocked me. No, I didn't expect it. It's brutal. Rob Zombie goes for it in this film, and I think this and another movie I'm about to talk about in a second are the most brutal movies in the Halloween franchise. The second half of the film just tries to retread old ground too much for me and copies the original. So I definitely like the first half of this movie. The second half was very, very average, but overall it's not a bad remake. It's just not a particularly great one. It's like a 7 out of 10 film. Next up is See How They Run, another new release of this month, which is one I really wanted to go and see because I was anticipating another mystery movie. Like I said, I love to play along with the film and try and guess the outcome, who the killer is and stuff. And this movie almost parodies the genre, really. I mean, they're sort of playing along with you, saying this is how murder mysteries work and stuff like that, but there is really a murder mystery going on in the film. And I did not guess the ending. I think early on I thought it could be this, but then I totally forgot, and I like it when a mystery movie does that. It's done its job when you don't guess it. So, See How They Run was a cool little mystery movie. I liked the way it was filmed, and I'm really terribly sorry. I forgot the female lead's name. I'll put it on the screen right now if I haven't forgot, but she was great. I thought she put such a good performance in this movie, and Sam Rockwell was good as well. These two teaming up to try and combat the mystery of, of this director who's been killed. I forgot the guy's name who played this director. I don't know why, because I've got it. Adrian Brody. He was great in this, but he wasn't in it for very long because it all centres around his murder and who's done it. But he was great in this. I wish I would have seen more of his character, to be honest. But a decent movie for 2022. I think I give it 3.5 on Letterboxd. Next up is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Probably the most divisive Marmite movie in the entire Halloween franchise. I see so many 1-star reviews for this, and I see so many 5-star reviews for it. And you know what? I thought this movie was fucking awesome. I did. I thought it was incredible. And I'm actually going to give it my older release of the month because I loved the direction Rob Zombie went in here. I'll be reviewing this and the Rob Zombie original on the channel as well, but I just appreciated he went and done his own thing with this franchise. It felt very, very different to every other Halloween film I've watched, even though it follows a similar story path to the original and Halloween 4 and stuff. It did still feel very different. He brought a lot of new elements to this. The Laurie Strode suffering with mental, the mental side of her health, because Michael Myers has kind of destroyed her life. She put a great performance in this. I forgot the woman's name. The girl who plays her. I'm very, very sorry. Damn it. She was much better in this film anyway than the first movie. I just thought she put a great performance in here. Michael Myers is absolutely brutal in this film. And the first 25 minutes is some of the best directing I've seen in any Halloween movie. It is pure horror. I absolutely loved what Rob Zombie done with this first 25 minutes of this film. Now, a lot of people criticise it because it's kind of a dream sequence. And it is. But it works for the film because it shows how much Laurie is suffering. And half of the dream actually did happen anyway, where Michael escapes and stuff. So it's not totally a dream sequence. And I'm not usually a fan of them in films, but it worked for me here. I thought it was brilliant. The whole movie was brilliant. One of the better Halloween films for me. and I'll die on the hill to anyone who says this is a bad movie, because I thought it was fucking awesome. The only thing I didn't like was the visions of Sherry Moon Zombie that were coming to Laurie and Michael. That did not need to be in there. It felt like Rob Zombie was shoehorning his wife into one of his films again. That was the only thing I kind of didn't like about it. But my older pick of the month is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, who I never thought that would be the case, but here we are. Next up, I watched Minions: Rise of Gru, finally. I'm not a massive fan of the Minion movie, so I don't even know why I kind of watched this. I think I just watched it because it was a 2022 film, and it was less than 90 minutes long, and I wanted to put it in my ranking. And I thought, this could be it. This could be the one that really does get me on side with the Minions, but I just don't like them. I think they're annoying characters. They don't do anything for me. It's all about Gru. Gru is the saviour of these films for me. I think he's an awesome character, and again, Steve Carell voices him brilliantly here. So I'm glad the main focus was actually on Gru for this, and it was one of the better Minion movies or Despicable Me movies, but overall it wasn't great. I liked it better than the last Minions film, if that helps. But yeah, it's a watchable, easy movie. Next up is Halloween 2018, the last Halloween film I'm going to talk about in this video, I promise. Now, I remember thinking this was just okay when I first watched it, but on this rewatch, I really enjoyed it a hell of a lot more. I think David Gordon Green done a good job of this reimagining, if you like, or sequel to the original. Michael was awesome in this movie. He was just relentless. The whole one-shot take where he goes into two houses, picks the butcher knife up and kills someone, that kind of felt like a reimagining of the start of Halloween 2 from 1981 there. There was a lot of throwbacks in there like this, in here, like that move, like that part where it throws back to Halloween 2. There was a lot of throwbacks, I thought, just little Easter eggs for fans. Definitely one of the better Halloween films for me. And Jamie Lee Curtis coming back like this Sarah Connor character was a cool idea, I thought, where she's been training for years to kill Michael and stuff, because she knows he's going to break out one day. I thought it was a fun movie and one of the better Halloween films. Next up is Look on Apple TV, a film I've had on my watch list for a while. I really like the look of this when I seen the trailers and stuff like that. And you know what? It was a good film. I loved the animation. I loved the voice work, especially for the cat Bob. And this is all about people being lucky and unlucky, and it takes focus of the unluckiest girl in the world who just has no luck whatsoever, and she entered this world where luck is kind of made and sent out into the universe. It's a very, very strange movie to describe, and it felt like a low-end Pixar film, because it wasn't on the level of most Pixar movies, but it was still enjoyable enough. I just think it was too ambitious for its own good. It tried to do too many things, and in the end it just became a little bit of a mess. I think the first half of the movie was better than the second, but I still got a bit of enjoyment out of it. I give it 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which is not a bad score. Next up, I watched Dog, another film that's been on my watch list for a while. I thought I'd really enjoy this because Shannon Tatum and a dog, and they're just driving across country. And you know what? It was a good movie. I think Shannon Tatum directed this as well, and I had a fun time with it. You know, basically, Shannon Tatum wants to get back in the army, and his friend has been killed who was in the army, and this guy doesn't want to let him back in. He says, I'll tell you what, if you take this dog to the funeral, because he's like the mascot for the funeral and stuff, you can come back into the army, but the dog is going to die and get put down after the funeral. And Shannon Tatum starts to get a bond with the dog and stuff like that. And it was all very, very predictable, the outcome of this film. That's my problem with it. But overall, I had a good time. I thought it was a good little story. And Shannon Tatum was really good in the film as well. So, that guy from My Name is Earl and Johnny Depp's partner in Blow, Tuna, I forgot his name. Is it James Earl Jones? Is it James Earl Jones? I forgot. I'm terrible at names today. No, it's not James Earl Jones, because he was in My Name is Earl. That's why I'm getting mixed up. I can't believe the amount of weight this guy has lost and actually put into muscle, because I remember he was just so obese years ago, but now he just looks like he's in so much good shape. He's done really, really well, and I had to look twice. I went, is that guy? Because he's got the same face and stuff, but he just looked totally transformed, and I'm very, very happy for him. So Yeah, he was in this film as well. I haven't seen him in nothing for a while. Next up is The Takedown, a buddy cop film from France, and Omar Sy is the main reason I watched this. It's a 2022 movie, and this was kind of funny in a lot of places, but it felt like a Netflix movie that's on for half an hour longer than it should be, and they're just basically investigating this murder. It was alright, it was funny. Not a film I'd probably ever watch again, or would I recommend, because there's a lot more better movies to pick from. I think I give it 2.5 on Letterboxd. If you want to follow me on Letterboxd, I think the link is down below. I usually leave it in there. Now, next up is a very divisive film, and this is Don't Worry Darling. And when I seen reviews for this, I was kind of off put by going to the cinema to see it, but I went on my own anyway, because, you know, I thought, I loved the trailers for this. I was really looking forward to it. I'm going to go and see it and make my own mind up. And you know what? I don't know why I fall victim to reviews sometimes, because I had a really good time with this film. I thought it was a really good movie. Really well directed. Loved the whole look of it, taking place in this kind of... It's this neighbourhood where all these people live, and it's kind of like a paradise, basically. You couldn't ask for a better neighbourhood to live in. Everyone's happy. You know, everyone's looked after. And they all have nice houses and stuff like that. And there's maybe a little bit more to this place than meets the eye, but I will not say any more than that. You kind of had to just go and see the film for yourself. A lot of people have been slating Harry Styles' performance. I thought he was quite good in this movie. I didn't see a problem at all, but it's Harry Styles. He's very popular. People are going to jump on him. But Florence Pugh is the best thing about this film by a mile. This has just confirmed to me that I will watch anything with her in now. Anything that she is in, I will watch, because she is an absolute superstar. She was incredible in this film. But yeah, I had a good time with this. I think it's one of my... I think I've got a 15th in my ranking. I don't get the hate. I don't. I really don't. People will form their own opinions on film, but for me... This was a solid movie, and I had a good time with it. Wasn't as good as Bodies, which got my new release of the month, but it was still a good 2022 film. I enjoyed it. I do recommend you go and see it and make your own mind up. Don't listen to anyone. Go and make your own mind up. And lastly, we have a TV show here that my friend Paul Tams was going on about on Instagram and stuff, and this is Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And I've never played the video game, but he was raving about it, and then I started to see a lot of other people online raving about it and stuff, so I thought, you know what, I'll give this a go. And for half of this show, I was really, really into it. Thought there was some great like action scenes and stuff, great animation, great voice work. The main protagonist is someone you kind of latched onto. You don't have to play the video game to watch this. That was my main thing going in. That's the main question I had. But everyone said you don't need to. And you don't. You can kind of understand it. Although, in the second half of the show, it seemed to be jumping episodes. I had to check if I was on the right episode, because it seems like it'll end on something and then it'll jump forward a lot. Like in one episode, this main protagonist, is part of a team, and in the next episode he's got his own team and he's the leader of the team, and I was like, did I miss an episode here? So it was definitely a show of two halves for me. I loved the first half. Second half it started to dwindle a little bit. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, though. It wasn't bad. And another TV show I have completed in 2022. There is so many TV shows that I want to get through this year. I've just started House of the Dragon. Hopefully I'll be talking about that next month. But what a solid first episode that was. There's my little teaser thoughts there. But what did you think of any of these titles, guys? What are these movies, these TV shows? Have you watched any? Is there any new releases you recommend to me? Let me know down below in the comments, and I'll try and get back to you all. I promise. If you want more end of month vlogs where I talk about lots of different things, they will be down below as well, along with my Halloween franchise playlist. Take it all easy, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.